I saw you when you thought no one was watching. I heard the cry you buried beneath your laughter. I was there when guilt told you I wouldn't understand. When shame became your shelter, and you called it home, but I never turned away. I never stopped walking toward you. You thought the weight you carried disqualified you from my presence. You believed the lie that your sins were louder than my voice, that your past had already spoken the final word. But I am the word, and I speak over shame. Even when you couldn't lift your head, I saw your heart, and I didn't recoil. I didn't retreat. I reached through the veil of condemnation. I walked into the room where you had locked the door from the inside. I broke no door. I simply waited until your silence softened, until your anger tired, until your strength ran out and you looked up. And I was there. Do you remember the first time you felt unworthy? It wasn't just an emotion, it was a lie sown into your soul by the enemy of your joy. And I wept, not because you failed, but because you believed you were failure itself. You see, shame is not of me. Shame is the shadow cast when you turn your back on my light. But even in the shadow, I called your name. I didn't shout. I whispered, because my voice doesn't need volume, it carries authority. You tried to cover yourself with works, with performance, with religious rituals, hoping I would notice the effort and forget the flaw. But I noticed you before the effort. I knew you before the ritual. I loved you before the wound. I did not die for a perfected version of you. I died for the real you, the one covered in doubt, limping through guilt, hiding behind masks you forgot how to remove. I saw you, and I stayed. Your shame didn't keep me away. It never could, because my love is not repelled by brokenness, it is drawn to it. My holiness does not demand distance, it creates healing. I walked into your darkest night, carrying light. I stood in your storm without flinching. I entered your graveyard with resurrection in my breath. I met your rejection with embrace, your denial with patience, your running with pursuit, your silence with song. You thought you had to find me, but I was never lost. I was the one calling your name in every quiet moment you avoided. I was the warmth in the place you called cold. I was the mercy you feared to receive. You don't disappoint me, because I am not surprised by your humanity. I wore it, I know its weight, I felt its tears, I walked its temptations, and I conquered it not to shame you, but to save you. I burned with holy fire not to destroy you, but to purify what shame corrupted. Every lie that told you to hide, I confronted it on the cross. Every voice that said you were too far gone, silenced it with my last breath. Every memory that haunts why, covered it with my blood. You think I see what you did. I see who you are becoming. You think I remember the sin. I remember the moment you looked toward me, even for a second, and that second became eternity. There is nothing in you I didn't already know. There is no secret darker than my light, no failure stronger than my grace, no hiding place too far from my reach. Even now, I am near, not waiting for perfection, but longing for permission. Let me in. Let me walk into the rooms you closed. Let me hold the parts of you shame told you were too filthy to be seen. Let me love you there where no one else dared to stay. Let me rewrite the names you believed. Unworthy, dirty, hypocrite, failure. I call you mine, not because of what you've done, but because of who I am. You can stop running, you can stop earning, you can stop hiding. You are not a mistake trying to earn grace. You are a child remembering where you came from, and my arms are still open. I was there when they judged you. I was there when they turned away. I was there when you blamed yourself for their rejection, and I never joined them. I stood beside you, took every accusation. I wore every label, I carried every consequence so you could come home. I know the nights you wish you could forget. I know the secrets you vowed never to tell, and I speak this truth over them. You are not what you did, you are who I say you are. Redeemed, restored, rewritten, asterisk. I broke the power of shame, not by ignoring your sin, but by paying for it, fully, finally, forever. So let go of the guilt that has no right to remain. Let go of the fear that I will turn away when you finally show me everything. Let go of the shame that whispers you're not enough, because I am enough for the both of us. This isn't a story of how you cleaned yourself up. It's a story of how I loved you when you were covered in ashes. I did not wait for you to reach for me. I reached through the blood. I reached through the thorns. I reached through the silence, and I still do even now. While you wonder if I mean what I say. Even now, while you measure your worth by what others did to you. Even now, while you doubt if love like mine is real. It is. I am, and I am here. Your shame never kept me away. It only drew me closer, because where shame builds a wall, love builds a door, and I am the door. Come in, come home. You are safe here. You are seen here. You are wanted here, and I never stopped loving you. I saw you the moment you covered your face in silence, and I did not turn away. I knew the weight of your secrets before you whispered them into the dark. I knew the shame you carried before it found words in your mouth. I watched the pain wrap around your soul like chains, cold binding, isolating, and yet I remained. I stayed when you hid. I stayed when you believed no one could ever look at you again without judgment. I stayed when you thought you had walked too far from my grace, because my love was not built on the conditions of your perfection. It was not founded on your righteousness or the image you tried to maintain. My love preceded your fall. My mercy anticipated your failure. My blood cried out your name long before your lips whispered mine in desperation. When you felt unworthy to enter my presence, I stepped closer. I was never repelled by your past, I was always drawn by your heart. And I knew your heart, even when it was clouded by regret, even when it was shattered by decisions you could no longer undo. My eyes did not flinch at the sight of your wounds. My hands did not hesitate to touch what others declared untouchable. There was no sin so repulsive that it could cause me to abandon you. No history so stained that my holiness could not cover it. I saw the scars, and I still reached. I saw the broken vows, and I still chose you. I saw the mask you wore, and I loved you underneath it. You thought your shame built a wall I would not climb, but I shattered it. I tore the veil. I crossed the distance. I laid myself down upon a cross, not out of obligation, but out of desire to remove every barrier between us. Your shame did not intimidate me. It became the battleground where my love proved its worth, and still, when you tried to make penance through silence, punishing yourself with self-hatred, I whispered truth into your soul. You are not your past. You are not the worst thing you've done. You are not the lie you believed about your worth. Do you remember the night you wept without sound? I caught every tear. I interpreted every cry your voice couldn't form. And I covered you with a grace no one could explain, because it did not come from the logic of man, but from the heart of a God who never lets go. Your shame didn't keep me away. It drew me near. You are not a disgrace to me. You are the reason I bore disgrace in your place. I wore the crown of thorns so you wouldn't wear the crown of condemnation. I hung naked on a cross, exposed to the world, to clothe you in my righteousness. I was mocked, bruised, rejected, not because I had sinned, but because I came to stand where you fell, and raise you from it. There was a moment when darkness thought it had won, when guilt screamed louder than hope, but I walked into that silence. I stepped into the grave that you thought would be permanent. I descended into the depths of despair so that no part of your story would be unreachable by my light. Every moment you hid from me, I waited not with anger, but with longing. I watched the world judge you by the weight of your mistakes, but I still saw the child I formed in secret. I remembered your laughter before it was stolen by regret. I remembered your dreams before they were crushed by failure. I remembered your name, not the one shame tried to rename you with, but the one I wrote on my hands. You are still mine. Let them say what they want. Let them point fingers and call you unclean. I have called you redeemed. I have called you restored. And no voice, not even your own, can reverse what I declared on the cross. When I said it is finished, I wasn't speaking in riddles. I finished the punishment that shame demanded. I ended the distance shame tried to maintain. I sealed the door that no condemnation can reopen. You thought your silence would protect me from your truth, but I am truth. And I entered your silence not to expose you, but to free you. Not to shame you further, but to lift the burden shame placed on your back. Even now, I walk with you through the echoes of old memories. I bring healing to the places you avoid. I shine light in the corners you still cover. And I say again what I've said since the beginning. I am not leaving you. You will not be defined by the worst thing you did. You will be defined by what I did for you. You are not known by your failure, but by my faithfulness. You are not measured by your shame, but by my sacrifice. Come out of hiding. You don't have to prove your worth to me. You don't have to carry the weight of redemption on your shoulders. I already carried it. Let them talk. Let the accuser rage. Let the memories knock. But you stay in my presence. Stay in my truth. Stay under the blood that still speaks on your behalf. Because I didn't die for a version of you that never made a mistake. I died for the real you. The one who's still trying to understand how love could be this relentless. Your shame didn't keep me away. It invited me to show you just how far I'd go to bring you home. I stood in the silence of your pain, the stillness of your broken heart. When you believed yourself forgotten, you thought your shame had built walls so high that even I could not climb. But I am not limited by walls, nor confined by fear or failure. I am the one who breaks down barriers, who scatters darkness, who lifts the lowly dot. Do you remember how the world judged you? How their eyes fell like stones, how their words became chains around your soul. They did not see the child I formed in secret, nor the treasure I had placed inside you. I watched as you carried burdens that were never yours to bear, the weight of guilt, the scars of regret, the chains of condemnation. And yet, even in your weakest moments, my spirit whispered, "You are not alone." Because your shame never stood between us. It was not a wall, but a doorway, a place where my grace could shine the brightest. You think your sin makes you unlovable? No, it makes my love undeniable. For I am the one who took your sin upon my shoulders. I bore the full weight of your rebellion, so you could be free. Your shame does not scare me. I have worn the crown of thorns. I have felt the nails pierce my flesh. I have tasted the bitter cup of abandonment, or so you would never feel alone. Remember this. I see past your mistakes. I see past your failures. I see your heart, the part that still longs for me, the part that still reaches for light, even when the darkness feels overwhelming. You don't have to prove yourself to me. You don't have to earn your way back. My arms are open wide, not because you are perfect, but because I am love. Even when you hide, I find you. Even when you doubt, I believe in you. Even when you fall, I am the hand that lifts you. Let go of the lies that say you are unworthy. Let go of the fear that you have gone too far. Let go of the voices that say, "I do not forgive." I forgive you. I healed you. I made you new. Your shame may feel heavy now, but my love is heavier still, and it will carry you home. You are mine. You have always been mine, and nothing, no shame, no sin, no failure can ever separate you from my love. You have carried shame like a heavy cloak, weighing your spirit down, whispering lies that you are beyond forgiveness, beyond love, beyond restoration. But I tell you now, those lies are ashes beneath the feet of my mercy. I stood in the place where justice demanded a price, and I paid it in full. Your shame was not a wall that could keep me out. It was the very reason I entered, willingly and without hesitation. When you think of the cross, do you see only suffering? Do you see only pain and death? Look again, beloved. See the bridge, built by my wounds, the doorway opened by my sacrifice, the love poured out like blood and water, inviting you into a new life. I was broken so you could be whole. I was crucified so you could be resurrected. I was forsaken so you would never be alone. Your shame once seemed endless, but my love is eternal. It is deeper than the ocean, higher than the heavens, wider than the earth itself. No shadow, no mistake, no failure can cover it or dim its light. I bore the weight of all your sins so you could walk free, not by your own strength, but by my grace, not because you were perfect, but because I am perfect, love. Hear me now. You are not your failures. You are not the sum of your mistakes. You are my child, redeemed, chosen, and deeply cherished. I am the one who carried your shame. I am the one who conquered death, hell, and the grave. I am the one who rose so you could rise with me. Come to me as you are. Bring your wounds, your regrets, your fears, your guilt. Lay them at the foot of the cross, not as a burden to carry alone, but as an offering I have already accepted. I do not remember your sins against you. I see only the blood that covers them. I see only the light that overcomes the darkness. You were lost, but now you are found. You were dead, but now you live. You were condemned, but now you are free. Walk in this freedom, walk in this grace, walk in this love that never fails. And when shame tries to whisper again, remember who I am and who you are in me. You are forgiven, you are restored, you are beloved, and nothing will ever separate you from my love. Your shame didn't keep me away, it drew me closer. It proved my love was stronger. I burned with holy fire on the cross. I bled for your freedom. I rose to give you life. Now live in the victory I won for you. The door is open. The light is shining. The love is waiting. Home, beloved, come home. I saw the way you tried to hide, not just from the world, but from yourself. You buried your past in silence, thinking that if you didn't speak of it, I wouldn't see it. But child, I was there when it happened. I was there in every trembling breath, in every tear you swallowed, in every scream that never left your lips. You thought shame disqualified you, but I never called you based on perfection. I called you because I loved you. I loved you in your darkest hour. I loved you when you ran. I loved you when you forgot who you were. And I never looked away. I never turned my back. Your shame didn't keep me away, it called me closer. You feared my judgment, but I came with mercy. You feared my wrath, but I brought healing. You feared rejection, but I reached for you with open arms. You forgot who I am. I am the God who walked among lepers, who stood between the accused and the stones of condemnation, who broke bread with the outcast and wept with the broken-hearted. Do you think your shame surprises me? Do you think I didn't know what you would face, what you would choose, what would break you? And yet, I still chose the cross. I still embraced the weight of every sin, including the ones you hoped I hadn't seen. I carried them not to remind you of them, but to free you from their power. You see ashes, I see beauty. You see scars, I see stories. You see filth, I see a vessel, purified by fire and made holy by grace. You are not beyond redemption. You are not beyond restoration. You are not what you did, or what was done to you. You are who I say you are, and I say, you are mine. Come out of hiding. I never asked you to be perfect. I asked you to be honest, to surrender, to let me in. Your wounds don't scare me. Your failures don't disgust me. Your doubts don't drive me away. I am the God who kneels beside you in the dust, who lifts your chin so you can see my eyes that have never stopped looking at you with love. You tried to clean yourself up before coming to me, but I was already beside you in the mess. I was already holding you when you thought no one could love what you had become. You said, I'm too broken. I said, blessed are the broken, for in their weakness, my strength is revealed. Your shame whispered lies. It said, you are unworthy. I answered, you are worth dying for. It said, you are disqualified. I replied, you are chosen. It said, you are alone. I reminded you, I will never leave you nor forsake you. This love isn't based on your performance. It's based on my character. I do not change. I do not love less when you fall. I do not step back when you stumble. I draw near, always near. Let me show you what I can build with the very things the world said disqualified you. Let me use your pain as a platform for my glory. Let me breathe life into the places you thought were too far gone. I'm not finished. You may have closed the chapter, but I'm still writing your story. You thought you reached the end, but this is only the beginning, because your shame didn't keep me away, it brought me to you. And now I say, rise, walk with me, speak again, hope again, love again, trust again. You are not what you feel. You are not what they said. You are not even the sum of your mistakes. You are who I died to redeem, and I rose again, not just to prove my power, but to call you into resurrection life. There is no chain I cannot break, no stain I cannot cleanse, no soul I will ever abandon. So, lift your head. You're not beyond my reach. You never were. I have called you by name. You are mine, and nothing will separate you from my love. Not shame, not guilt, not fear, not even death, for I burned with love so you could live, now live. Not in hiding, but in freedom, not in silence, but in testimony. Not in shame, but in radiant grace. The world may remember your past, but I remember your purpose, and I will finish what I started in you. I never stopped calling your name, even when your shame grew louder than your prayers, even when you buried your heart beneath layers of silence, fear, and bitterness. I never turned my face away from you. I came closer than the accusations that haunted you at night, closer than the echo of your own voice rehearsing regret. My presence was there even when you denied it. My light moved through your darkness, gently, patiently, because I knew what shame had done to you. It didn't make me hesitate. It made me fight harder for your heart. You thought you had to prove something to be worthy of my love, but you misunderstood me. I never asked you to be perfect, only present. You never had to clean yourself up before coming near. My cross was not a celebration of your perfection. It was the declaration of my love, carved into eternity with nails and blood. And it still speaks when shame tries to silence you. The cross shouts louder, you are mine. When you turned away, I followed. When you fell, I caught the fragments. When you wept alone, I gathered every tear. I saw what others didn't see, the war behind your eyes, the weight you carried, the secret fear that your sin made you unlovable. But I was never repelled by your need. I was moved by it, because your brokenness never scared me. I bore it. I embraced it. I entered into it. I wore your shame like a garment, so you wouldn't have to anymore. I walked through your wilderness, even when you didn't recognize me. You mistook my silence for absence, but I was the one holding your soul, together when everything else was falling apart. I was the whisper in your chest that said, don't give up. I was the warmth that returned when you thought you'd grown too cold to feel. I was there, and I still am, don't you see? Shame distorts your vision. It paints me as angry, distant, and disappointed. But I am the father who runs, not the judge who waits with crossed arms. I am the lamb who takes away your sin, not the accuser who lists your faults. I am the redeemer who rewrites your story, not the critic who marks every mistake. When you doubted whether I'd still want you, I already chose you again. When you assumed I'd given up, I was planning your restoration. You thought your worst moments defined you, but they only defined the depth of my love. You still carry pieces of guilt as if they were trophies of your failure. Let me take them. Let me place in your hands what you were always meant to hold: peace, forgiveness, belonging. You do not have to live under the echo of shame. I didn't come to expose your wounds, I came to heal them. I didn't come to remind you of your failures, I came to remind you of your worth. And I didn't come to condemn you, I came to call you by your true name. Beloved, let me speak. Into the place shame tried to bury, let me pour oil over what religion bruised and restore what rejection fractured. Let me teach your soul how to sing again, how to believe again, how to rise again. I have not changed my mind about you. Not once, not ever. You still belong here. Not in the shadows, not in silence, here in my arms. Let me be the voice louder than shame. Let me be the one who tells you, every morning, you are still mine. You are not your past, you are not your failure. You are not the things they said. You are not even the things you whispered about yourself. You are my child, and my arms are still open. Come closer. You are safe in the place where shame ends and love begins. You are safe with me. I never stopped calling your name, even when your shame grew louder than your prayers, even when you buried your heart beneath layers of silence, fear, and bitterness. I never turned my face away from you. I came closer than the accusations that haunted you at night, closer than the echo of your own voice, rehearsing regret. My presence was there, even when you denied it. My light moved through your darkness, gently, patiently, because I knew what shame had done to you. It didn't make me hesitate, it made me fight harder for your heart. You thought you had to prove something to be worthy of my love, but you misunderstood me. I never asked you to be perfect, only present. You never had to clean yourself up before coming near. My cross was not a celebration of your perfection. It was the declaration of my love, carved into eternity with nails and blood. And it still speaks when shame tries to silence you. The cross shouts louder, you are mine. When you turned away, I followed. When you fell, I caught the fragments. When you wept alone, I gathered every tear. I saw what others didn't see, the war behind your eyes, the weight you carried, the secret fear that your sin made you unlovable. But I was never repelled by your need. I was moved by it because your brokenness never scared me. I bore it. I embraced it. I entered into it. I wore your shame like a garment, so you wouldn't have to anymore. I walked through your wilderness, even when you didn't recognize me. You mistook my silence for absence, but I was the one holding your soul together when everything else was falling apart. I was the whisper in your chest that said, don't give up. I was the warmth that returned when you thought you'd grown too cold to feel. I was there, and I still am. You see, shame distorts your vision. It paints me as angry, distant, and disappointed. But I am the father who runs, not the judge who waits with crossed arms. I am the lamb who takes away your sin, not the accuser who lists your faults. I am the redeemer who rewrites your story, not the critic who marks every mistake. When you doubted whether I'd still want you, I'd already chose you again. When you assumed I'd given up, I was planning your restoration. You thought your worst moments defined you, but they only defined the depth of my love. You still carry pieces of guilt as if they were trophies of your failure. Let me take them. Let me place in your hands what you were always meant to hold: peace, forgiveness, belonging. Do not have to live under the echo of shame. I didn't come to expose your wounds, I came to heal them. I didn't come to remind you of your failures, I came to remind you of your worth. And I didn't come to condemn you, I came to call you by your true name. Beloved, let me speak. Into the place shame tried to bury, let me pour oil over what religion bruised and restore what rejection fractured. Let me teach your soul how to sing again, how to believe again, how to rise again. I have not changed my mind about you, not once, not ever. You still belong here, not in the shadows, not in silence, here in my arms. Let me be the voice louder than shame. Let me be the one who tells you, every morning, you are still mine. You are not your past. You are not your failure. You are not the things they said. You are not even the things you whispered about yourself. You are my child, and my arms are still open. Come closer. You are safe in the place where shame ends and love begins. You are safe with me.